Welcome to Gems of Wisdom, a soul sanctuary and community to inspire hearts, minds, and lives through art, charity, and conversations that deepen our connection. Our show features the stories of women in the arts who nurture creative and abundant living for all religions, communities, and forms of spirituality. Welcome to our show.
Hi there, and welcome to a special edition of Gems of Wisdom, Giving Your Best. Today is day 10. I think it's so exciting. I'm your host, Teresa Maron, and I have two very exciting guests with me today. And our subject and the goal of our show is to talk a little bit about how we can focus on a new way of experiencing traditions. Our overview topic is how can we be more joyful for the holidays by being Christmas present. And I think that there's an awful lot of people that feel as my guest and I do today that, we really want to do something a little different this year. So let me start off by introducing my first guest. This is a series of conversations with Reverend Brigid Waszczak, and she is with us today from Tucson. Hello, Brigid.
Hello.
How are you?
How are you? I'm good. How are you doing today? And happy birthday a day late.
I had so much fun on my birthday yesterday. In fact, I posted something on Facebook that said I had as much fun as you can have without actually taking your clothes off and getting a fountain. So I know. It's too cold. It's the only reason I didn't do it. So, we've had some thoughts, Brigid, and we spoke last Wednesday about so many things, and I kind of want to reiterate just a little bit for the listeners today where you're coming from, your point of view, and what you really are, what your message and your mission is as a spiritual leader. Do you want to speak just a little bit about your women's studies and your mission?
Sure. So mostly my ministry is to women, and at the moment I'm doing something called Women's Wisdom Circle. It's a gathering of women of all ages, all denominations, or no denomination. And we sit in a circle so that there is really no head in the circle, and my job is to facilitate the conversation that is inspired and sparked by spirit. So we do that by offering a quote and a photo, and after we view those, anyone can start the conversation, and we enter through one of those two things, and the conversation just is led by spirit after that. And it's always rich and deep and fulfilling, and we learn new things about ourselves that we never knew, and we are continually amazed by each other. So it's a great learning experience for all of us, and the thing that I like the most is that women come to understand that deep within them lies wisdom that they leave untapped if they don't speak out.
Oh, I really like that. And I liked what you said last week, Brigid, about your gift in being a facilitator is that you really know how to stay out of the way.
I don't get in the way. That's right.
You facilitate by support, and you do have a gift for choosing quotes. So a little bit later in our conversation today, we're going to do a little mini wisdom circle with you and me and our second guest, who is Lucia Bettler of Lucia's Garden, who I will be bringing on in just one moment. But before we do that, before we get into the wisdom circle, we want to kind of fully flesh out our topic for the day. And I know that you have some real life experience about how that last minute time crunch and recipes and being in the kitchen and cleaning the house and having a house full of people can really kind of steal the joy. I mean, I know that from my point of view, what I always thought so many years is that that's the gift, that you have the perfectly set table and it's holiday, those special dishes that you only bring out for the holidays, and you always have didn't we always make time to go get something to wear that made us great for the photos? That was the gift. But now don't you think it's time to think in terms of a different way of giving a Christmas present?
Yes, and I think it's our presence at Christmas that is the gift. And some of what you just talked about, our involvement, our being so wrapped up in all traditions, getting the right things on the tree, getting the house decorated just right, getting the right foods out, the traditional foods out, that can steal us away from actually being present at the time. And we need to be present not just on Christmas, but through the whole holiday to everybody that we see, not just our family members or maybe our partners, but also to everybody else who's passing us by in the malls and the shopping things. We just need to be present and enjoy those moments of being in the spirit of the holidays and the spirit of Christmas. And if we get too wrapped up, then we are not truly present. So rather than strive for the perfect Martha Stewart Christmas, I suggest you perhaps strive for a Martha Stewart moment. Only one.
Pick your moment. I swear, for the last, not the last 3 or 4 Christmases, but before that, we chose what color wrapping paper so that all of the presents under the tree and the tree decorations and everything else would all be coordinated. And I'm serious, light blue and white. And if your blue was too turquoise, or if you just went, oh, screw it, I've got, I'm going to do a Santa Claus. The Christmas did not happen. Get that present out from under that tree. I mean, it was just, that's what we did. But that's not what we do now.
No, I think we need to rethink it. I think we need to step back, stop, and take a breath, and decide, what is it that makes Christmas? What do you want to remember from this Christmas that you're helping to create, and what do you want others to remember? And what I want them to remember is I was there for them, and they were there for me.
Yes. Now, I'm going to bring our other guest on, Lucia Bettler. She is a wise woman who has a store here in Houston, Texas, that is kind of like a lifestyle store. It promotes beautiful and soft and loving ways of experiencing the day through candles, books, thoughts, CDs, music. It's a sensory delight with herbs and oils and everything that you can imagine. So, Lucia, it's so nice to have you with us today. Hello.
Hi. I'm so happy to be here and listen to Brigid.
Oh, isn't she wonderful?
I feel like I have a sister over in Tucson doing wonderful.
Yes, very nice. Well, I know that you are doing a series in the Giving Your Best 21 Days of a Joyful Journey into the Holiday on, you did Recipes for the Soul, you're doing Body and Soul this week, and then Savor the Soul is coming next week, and it's all about how to enrich your soul experience through the holidays and beyond. So do you want to talk just a little bit about when I asked you to do something for the series, you were like, let me think about it. So what was that process?
Well, I wanted to think about something that was meaningful, and like you talked about the Martha Stewart Christmas, I used to try to do that, but the moment is much better and easier. But sometimes necessity makes us simplify. And what I strive for at the holiday time is some sense of calm and sacred reading, music, things like that I make sure to put into my life. Of course, I'm going to cook something special, but it'll be simple. And,
right.
And I will gather with my women's community of the Most Holy Mother near the solstice, where we can talk about the darkness and the light and healing and all the things that we need to look at this time of year.
I'm really glad you brought that in because that's a different type of tradition. So let's just put that on the back burner for 1 second and go back to you did a series of recipes last week that everybody can get on day 5. And
right.
You designed those recipes to be simple, didn't you?
Yes. Yes, the pumpkin mushroom soup with a dash of curry is really simple and beautiful and elegant. The chicken, people keep asking me to make for them for different little gatherings. Parmesan crusted chicken that's in baked with white wine and herbs. And I can't remember the dessert we put in there, but
the cranberry apple cake.
Oh yes, that's a Barefoot Contessa cake, and it's so easy and so delicious and festive looking. You can use different fruits, like cranberries or blueberries or apples, what have you. So it can be made ahead of time too. That's the key, not to be married to the kitchen on Christmas Day or whatever holiday you're celebrating.
Exactly. And so, I don't know, Brigid, be thinking about if you want to get involved in the discussion about the winter solstice here real quick. But that is a time of renewal and release. I always think of the winter solstice as the time when you really decide what you're ready to move away from. Is that how you think of it, Lucia?
Well, that's part of it. But lately I've been really working with what it's like to walk through the darkness and be there a little while. And not be afraid of it, because that's the place of gestation and inner growth that you can't see just yet. That comes out later.
That's very deep. And I think that's born a little bit of experience of having some life experience. That might not be something that resonates as much with our 20s and 30-year-old listeners, but certainly it resonates with me. Brigid, did you have something you wanted to add to that part of the discussion?
I really like this. I just found while I was Googling around on the internet this morning that solstice, that gathering, and so wished that I would be able to be present for it because it sounds so rich. And this idea of darkness is one I think that although it might initially give us caution and maybe we want to turn away from it, it's something we need to turn to and embrace. I really think everyone in life goes through little dark periods, and some of them are protracted and some of them are just tiny, but that's when we learn. That's when we grow. And if we can learn not to shun them and to work with them and through them, I think we learn so much more.
Beautiful.
Well, I know that's making a real impression on me, and I hope that we'll hear from some of the listeners on our Facebook page about how you feel about hearing these two women talk about the winter solstice as a time of embracing darkness, because it just kind of makes me feel like I've missed a lot of the richness of that season by not thinking of it that way. So I appreciate that. So, Lucia.
Yes.
Are you willing to do the Women's Wisdom Circle with us?
You mean right now?
Yeah, we're going to do it right now. And
sure.
What we've got planned, Brigid does me the most gracious favor of sending me 3 or 4 quotes and letting me pick one of them. And it makes me look so good, like I'm so prepared. But I have to throw that gratitude right back at you, Brigid, because I can't go wrong. There were 4 good ones, and I chose the one I wanted today. So what we do is I'll read the quote, and then I pass the ball to Brigid, and she'll pass it to you, and you'll pass it to me, and we'll just keep going around and delve into this topic. So the quote is this: habits allow us to not think about what we're doing, giving us the illusion of ease. We are under the illusion of ease, not thinking about what we're doing, breathing the same old way, moving the same old way, thinking the same old way. And when we do that, we check out of the present, which is our theme today, is being Christmas present, and we check out of happiness itself. Now, this is a quote by Alex Levin. I want to give that credit. But habits, ease, checking out. Brigid, talk to me.
I really think that this is part of what we do at Christmas. We have some place stored in our mind, oh, yeah, Christmas, I know how to do that. And so we just, without really thinking about it, we just start into what we've always done. We've always put the tree in this place. We've always taken out these ornaments. We've always had the tree, specially done in a certain way. And in fact, we've even picked out the same kind of tree every year. We have always had these foods. We have always had the decorations placed in exactly the same spots. And so we think we know how to do Christmas, and it becomes our habit, and over years it becomes our tradition. And so sometimes that gets us in trouble, because when we don't stop to think about, at least for my part, when we don't stop to think about what we're doing and why we're doing it, it has far less meaning. We have to be more intentional about that. And sometimes being more intentional is, as I say, being able to take that step back and say, yeah, do we really need all that? No. So I think we need to break the habits we have about Christmas to really look at them and say, it's okay. We don't have to fall back into those habits. And I know that people are screaming, oh, but my family, oh, but my mother, oh, but my grandmother. And my my words to you are, be brave, opt out, be an adult. Set an example for your family, your kids, your extended family. Set some boundaries on what you're willing to do, and stop the holiday insanity and stop the incredible stress on yourself, so that you can actually be present with all of them in a very genuine, not tired and stressed out way.
I like that. And, when you say, but what will the family think? I have found in my own life that my expectations of what their expectations are is one of the biggest differences in being authentic about what you really want. I've found a lot of times I hear, I've been wanting to say that for years, And, when that happens, you think, wow. And one of the biggest things I'll tell you is several years ago, we moved my mother into an apartment because it was easier for her, no yard, et cetera. And I dreaded the moment when I was going to tell her that was going to happen. And when I told her, she was like, oh, I've been wanting to move out of this house for 4 years. And I was thinking, you've really got to own your truth. So, Lucia, I can hear your brain going. What would you like to add?
Well, sometimes things that happen in families cause change. For instance, my parents are gone and Michael's parents are gone. My sister moved to the coast. My brother lives in Dallas. And so things just got simpler. And also, with my husband's health has been difficult the last few years. I've had to really rethink my holiday decorating, everything. And one year it was just us and one other person for Christmas lunch. But it was all right. It was beautiful. And I've downsized the tree. I'm giving away some of the ornaments. Things just happen, and you realize you're not going to faint dead away if you do these things. And in a way, it's a relief. It's a relief.
Exactly.
Sometimes 1 or 3 candles is just as effective as a table full. Not sometimes, it can be. It just is. And if we have so much, we don't see it, and we do it the same way, we don't see it anymore. It's just there. So we're looking for real presence and real awareness. And I love Mary Oliver, who talks about being astonished by nature and by life. And sometimes a single pine cone can astonish us.
Yes, can anchor a table.
Mhm.
I really like the idea that you're introducing right now, Lucia, that family traditions can be fluid based on need and based on making the most of what is instead of what is not. We've always done that this way, but this year is going to be different, can be wonderful as opposed to sadness. And
Right.
you know what I'm saying? When things change, when family members move, children are born, different generations have different needs at different times of the year, and it's so nice for those expectations to be fluid, to encompass that, and to honor that. I also think it's a really great option, like with the 21 days that we're doing right now, with so much input from so many people who are beautiful souls, to try something new, a new thing to do with the family. Next week, our guest is going to be Deborah Lynn Dean, and she's going to be talking about some family projects that you can do with some art therapy techniques. And we've talked about how you can get the family together to make your own gifts, very economically and very unique, one of a kind for your people that are on your list. And I think that that's every year trying something new is actually thinking out of the box. And I'll pass it back to Brigid now.
I like this idea of something new. And I'd like to add that if you're going to add something new, take something else away, so that you're not always piling on to yourself. And I really like this idea of embracing change as opportunity, and I think that will move us out of this habitualness that we have about sharing our holidays and what we do for our holidays. So this year, for the first time in a long time, I am not going to have 17 people at Christmas. I'm going to have 3. My husband, me, and my youngest son. And that's because we have our oldest daughter having a baby over on the East Coast, and we've all decided that we will cycle through where she lives, each of us for a few days, to meet the new baby and do whatever. But that makes rethinking Christmas and what is it that's going to actually make Christmas for all of us, because it is a new opportunity. It is a big change. And for me, what makes Christmas is being with the people I love. And I don't care if I have, one single scented candle pushing off its bayberry into the air. It will be Christmas for me. It will be wonderful. And for me, it's celebrating at a religious event because I am a deacon. So those things will remain for me. And I choose to then get rid of all the things that I'm used to doing that have become habits of tradition, so that I can embrace this huge change that's coming this year and see it as an opportunity to come back to it will be then 18 people next year. and do something different, do something completely different.
Well, I like the enthusiasm there, and I think it also kind of anchors the theme of the 21 days, is that what you're giving us right now, that little snapshot into your life is how you're taking something that I might hear other people complaining about, and turning it into a blessing and a joy, and seeing how rich this holiday can be with everyone having more one-on-one time with a new family member, as opposed to trying to do it the old way, which would have just been chaos. That would have been chaos for everyone.
Oh, we have lots of Christmases with chaos. I have lots of those in my future.
Chaos. Well, I like it. So, Lucia, what are your final thoughts on our quote of the day of changing habits to become more Christmas present?
Oh, well, I was just thinking about the church that I go to, St. Anne's Catholic Church. We moved midnight mass to 5:45. So people go, "What time is midnight mass?" It's at 5:45. so that the older people in the parish can come without worrying about being out late at night. And that's a way that some of us have dealt with change and being present, don't you think? I mean,
I do.
It's different, but it's still beautiful. I just love the thought too of before you add some new traditions, take away some old ones, because we do tend to pile things on, trying to create the perfect thing. And as a Virgo who loves perfection, I've really had to let go of perfection the last few years and just seeking calm and a little peace and some laughter and heartfelt time. That's what's important.
The time between the times.
Yeah, really. And this is the time between the times.
It really is.
And then we can look in February to the time of Brigid when the light grows. But for now, we can be a little still. It's so ironic that the very time we need to be more still is when we're all going crazy doing things.
But not this year. Not these three women.
No,
not these three women.
Not these three. I can't wait to hear what Deborah Lindeen has in mind for us to create some gifts.
You know, I have found, I'll just share a little snapshot into my world. I am a big introvert, and a lot of people don't really see that in me because I do radio, I do, performance arts, but it's born of a rich inner life of visualization. And it comes out of me, but it wears me out. And big events, big rooms full of people, I have a very short window that I can actually do that. And Deborah and I both share that same.
I'm the same way. Did you know that?
And so am I.
Most of my best friends, most of the people that I really resonate with, they totally get that. And I heard someone say very wisely that the people who say, when you say, I'm really an introvert and I'm about 5 minutes away from my window, if they say to you, oh, no, you're not, then they're extroverts. Oh, yeah. And if you're really an introvert, you know that when that window is starting to close, you need to leave. Or
you might hurt someone.
you might what?
You get cranky. You get kind of cranky.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And it ruins the whole beautiful time that you've just created. So what she's going to be talking about, I said that story in response to what you said about Deborah. She's going to be sharing some things for introverts to do in a family situation, or even to prepare yourself for a large family situation. She's going to be sharing some tips and tricks for introverts to self-care through the holiday season and beyond. So I think that's going to be great. That'll be next Wednesday.
Great.
So, ladies, we're about to the end of our show. Brigid, what would you like to share with our listeners?
Well, I'd like to share that I think we should all consider taking ourselves off autopilot for Christmas and not fall back into the habits of old, and stop and reconsider what it is we really want and how to be really present to ourselves, because you do have to respect yourself as an introvert or an extrovert, and be present to others and respect their introversion or extroversion, and then decide what it is we really want to do. Draw some new boundaries and rewrite what Christmas actually feels and looks like for all of us. Honor ourselves and honor others by being present to both.
I like it. I like that so much. Thank you so much for joining us today, Reverend Brigid.
You're welcome.
Okay, and Lucia, what are your last thoughts for our listeners today?
Well, my thoughts are that we need to get outdoors at night and look up at the stars and think about what is being birthed in us at this time.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Thank you. Let there be silence in between all the activities. Don't be afraid to withdraw just a little or have some time to assimilate the goodness And like Brigid, she inferred this a little bit, but to listen to your heart's desire. What does my soul need right now? Is it music, a beautiful smell, holding hands with someone, being around children? It could be different for everybody. But just try to calm down. It's just a day.
It's just another bidet.
Everything into the holy days. And I love the 12 days of Christmas because we stretch it out with friends, and we'll get together with my sister in the new year. You know, it doesn't have to all be done in one day. So just open yourself to the holiness, really.
Lucia, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me, and I loved meeting Brigid very much.
Thank you. I enjoyed meeting you as well.
Thank you. And Teresa, you're a wonder, so thank you.
Well, I only shine in your light. I can only shine with your lights. So thank you all for joining us today. This is the 21 Days of Giving Your Best. And go out there and give some of your best to someone who needs it today. And we will see you tomorrow.